How to deal with opposition in relation with the topic of Kabbalas Hamalchus, welcoming Mashiach. What is opposition? Why does it happen? And where does it come from? In a convention of Neshech Chabad, Rabbi Groner relates the story about the visit of the Baal Shem Tov and the Maggid of Mezerich to the Admor HaZaken who was imprisoned. The Admor HaZaken asked them, "Why is it that I have to be imprisoned? Why did I do that I deserve such a punishment?" The Baal Shem Tov answered, "Because you were spreading Chassidut." The Admor HaZaken asked, "If that's the case, maybe it is a sign from heaven that when I am released, I should stop spreading Chassidut." The Baal Shem Tov and the Maggid told him, "No, on the contrary, this is the Maasse Satan, the action from the Samech Mem, and you have to overcome that. And when you will be out of prison, not only should you continue to spread Chassidut, but you should do even more." The Samech Mem knows that when Mashiach comes, he has no more existence. So the Samech Mem is struggling for his life, his existence. In this story, we can already see that when someone is doing an action which truly accelerates the process of Geula and brings Mashiach, this is when there will be opposition. This comes from the Satan. If we look a little bit more in details, before the imprisonment of the Admor HaZaken, from where did the opposition come? Did it come from non-Jewish people? Did it come from people who are not familiar with the practice of Torah and mitzvot? The Satan can dress even in a chassid or in someone who learns Torah and do mitzvot. In fact, one of the opponents to Chassidut was the Vilna Gaon. The Satan can dress in anyone, even in a chassid or in a Gaon, in order to try to stop Mashiach from coming, chas v'shalem. The Satan will try to use any possible mean. After the Admor HaZaken's release from prison on the afternoon of Yutes Kislev, the Admor HaZaken asked to be taken to the home of Rabbi Mordechai Lippler, but he was mistakenly brought to the home of a misnaged, an opponent, named Notkin, who berated him for close to 3 hours. The rabbi quotes the Frère Dika Rabbi in Reshimes, saying that the Admor HaZaken suffered more during the 3 hours at Notkin's home than the entire time he was imprisoned. When the opposition comes from those who are closer, higher, and dealing with Torah and mitzvot, the sufferance goes further. Another example of opposition is the following. At a certain occasion, some non-Lubavitchers went so far as to prevent 100 Rabbanim from signing a Psak Din that was given to the Rebbe that establishes that the Rebbe is indeed Becheskas Mashiach, which many other Rabbanim did, of course, sign. The Rebbe considered this Psak Din he received to be especially important, and he even sent shluchim to read it at the Tzion of the Rebbeim. Again, we see that when a specific action has the power to hasten the revelation of Mashiach and end Golus, this is when opposition manifests, unfortunately, vested in people who may be even Rabbanim, etc. So how do we deal with it? The answer given to the Admor HaZaken was, do even more. Recently, I opened a letter from the Rebbe which addresses this topic in an incredible manner. It is the letter 6430, in which the Rebbe writes, I heard surprising news that someone has raised their hands on you as you carry out your sacred mission. From what I've been told, whoever raised their hand thought they were upholding those values, the sacred values, by doing so. You are probably not discouraged because, deep down, it was not against you that he raised his hand, but against me. Moreover, even if he had blamed only you, our Chachamim specify the nature of the one who strikes a Jew. But in this case, we can say that he attacked me and that you were only my emissary. Now, this man has in no way inspired me with a desire to weaken my work. I, therefore, have good hope that it will be the same for you when it comes to your own work, and that, on the contrary, you will redouble your ardor and enthusiasm. When someone reads such a letter, the first feeling that can come is, the Rebbe is trying to console me, telling me that since I was only doing his shlichut, his mission, I should not take personally the attacks. But as I read again the letter, some words hit me. The Rebbe writes, in this case, we can say that he attacked me. When I realized that the Rebbe was saying that he himself was attacked in his attempt to bring the Geula ha'amitit v'hashlema now, something occurred within my soul. My deepest essence got touched. I could not accept that the Rebbe would be hit, chas v'shalem, or blocked in his deepest desire, the Geula. This feeling made me leave my personal self, and quick enough, I only felt the ratzon of the Yechida, which is the ratzon that I was serving in the first hand. Then, something incredible happened. I realized that the essence that I was feeling was within me, that the Rebbe being hit was a feeling that I could feel here in me, and that when the Rebbe was saying, it was not against you that he raised his hands, but against me, he was also referring to the different levels of my soul that I could suddenly feel so clearly. It is not my personal self which is attacked. My personal self was doing the shlichut of serving the ratzon of the Yechida. It's my own Yechida, my essence, the Rebbe within me, my deepest desire, which is hit, blocked, attacked. Then it became obvious that the Rebbe was not trying only to console me, but he was reminding me that my deepest desire never changes and cannot be alterated, and on the opposite, to do even more with more enthusiasm. So opposition can come in various ways, but we should remember that nothing can touch our Yechida, our real identity. And I want to take this further. I hear sometimes people saying, I want Geula, I want divinity, but it is too intense, too overwhelming. Sometimes the opposition can come from other parts of the soul who are not the Yechida, and saying that they are not vessels yet for the ratzon of the Yechida. This is when one must remember, know who you are, know what you want. Your Yechida is ready for Mashiach and cannot be overwhelmed by Geula. Do not think that those parts which are finding the ratzon of the Rebbe too difficult to apply are you. And this is when we must remember the quote from the Friardike Rebbe. The heart must convince the brain so that there will be concrete action. In your heart, find your deepest ratzon and do not let anything make you believe that the deepest ratzon is too difficult to apply right now. Since we are talking about opposition, here are some ways to identify holiness versus Satan. Yechida does not oppose Yechida. Yechida does not block Yechida. And the Satan does not block the Satan. The Satan does not oppose the Satan. In a situation of opposition, the Satan is trying to stop the Yechida from bringing Mashiach closer. One way to identify clearly is to check, when does the opposition manifest? If the opposition manifests exactly when you are about to accomplish an action which has to do with bringing Mashiach, then you can know for sure where the opposition comes from and what the opposition is trying to prevent. Another thing that we can observe in the story of the Admor HaZaken is the following. Before he was imprisoned, the Misnagdim, the opponents, were opposing him. A turning point took place 1 year earlier on Chol HaMoed Sukkot with the passing of the Vilna Gaon. A rumor spread in Vilna that the Hasidim had publicly celebrated the Gaon's illness and passing. In truth, a Simchat Bet HaShoeva had been held in Reb Meir Raphael's sukkah a day before the Gaon's passing, where a public Misheberach had been recited for his recovery. In this story, we can see how the Satan uses events and makes them look totally opposite to what the reality was, just to increase the opposition. Those are real events, real facts, but appearing under a complete opposite light, taken completely out of the context. So we shouldn't get intimidated by the way how the Satan is going to try everything to present the truth in a distorted manner, only to create opposition. Concretely, we must remember that our Yechida is untouchable. Like the Frère Dike Rebbe said, only our body was sent to exile. If opposition occurs, it can never touch the essence. So how to deal with it? The answer is increase even more in the essence desire. There is a very interesting fact about the eagle that can illustrate our response to opposition. And as we know, Mashiach is compared to an eagle. The only bird that dares to peck an eagle is the raven. It sits on the eagle's back and bites its neck. However, the eagle doesn't respond or fight with the raven. It does not spend time or energy with the raven. It just opens its wings and begins to fly higher in the sky. The higher the flight, the harder it is for the raven to breathe, and he eventually falls due to lack of oxygen. When there is opposition, false accusations, attempts to block you and stop you from achieving the mission from the Yechida, ignore and rise. I've heard recently at the Neshech Chabad convention, the Shlucha Chani Korv say, don't fight with a chimney cleaner or you will get dirty. The Rebbe always says, you have no time to talk to the Satan. Another essential aspect in ignoring the opposition is the following. Every time that we think or say words, we create a reality. The only reality that we want to create is the reality of Geula, Hamitis Vashlema. We do not want to feed with energy opposite forces, Chas v'Shalem. There is a famous story that can also illustrate how to deal with obstacles and opposition. The two brothers, Reb Elimelech of Lizensk and Reb Zusha of Anipoli, once, while they were traveling with a group of vagabonds, were thrown into jail with the entire group. They knew that they were innocent and were confident in their eventual release. When it was time to pray Mincha, Rebbe Elimelech prepared himself to pray. But his brother told him that it is forbidden to pray in this cell because there was a pail that served as a toilet nearby, making the room unfit for prayer. Rebbe Elimelech began to cry because he was unable to pray. Reb Zusha told him, "Don't you know that the same God who commanded you to pray also commanded you not to pray when the room is unfit for prayer? By not praying in this room, you have achieved a connection with Hashem. Hashem has afforded you the opportunity to obey His law at this time, no matter what it is." Rebbe Elimelech felt so happy that he took his brother and they began to dance from joy as a result of performing the mitzvah of not praying in an inappropriate place. The guards asked, "Why are these Jews so happy?" People answered that they were discussing the pail in the corner and became very happy. The guards promptly removed the pail from the cell, and the two brothers prayed Mincha. By tapping into the reality of the deepest truth, they were able to manifest the desire of praying Mincha to Hashem. The deeper truth is unconditional, above any limit. Our deeper connection to Hashem, His presence, these are above any limit or concealment. And the same goes with Mashiach. As we access the spiritual treasures of Mashiach, we achieve a spiritual redemption, and by doing so, we begin to manifest the redemption physically. In other words, if we face opposition from the outside, even disguised in people who are elevated, and this makes the opposition much more painful, or if one faces opposition from the other parts of their soul, thinking that they are not ready for the high intense light of the Yechida, the solution is give yourself even more intensely to the Yechida, to the Rebbe, to your truest desire. Rise, be unconditional, and the desire will manifest even in this physical reality. We must remember that opposition is a sign that we are achieving something essential, crucial, which can have a great impact. In such moments, we must continue, double the efforts, and go until the end, unconditionally, no matter what. Another cute explanation. The word sheker is written with a shin, a kuf, and a resh. The kuf goes down. The word emet is written with a aleph, a mem, and a taf. It's all straight, like a rock, like a brick. We can see in the shape of the letters that sheker falls and emet stays forever. The truth stays forever. On the road, our goal is to arrive to the destination. It's not about being right in everyone's eyes. It is about finding the way to the destination unconditionally. Then, at the destination, the truth wins, and all the lies fall and disappear, and just the truth remains, and Hashem's glory is then revealed to everyone. In order to arrive to the destination, we follow Malchus. The Rebbe finds a way. The essence finds a way to reveal and accomplish the deepest, only, ultimate, unique ratzon desire. How do we feel towards those who act as opponents? The Tanya explains that in every Jew there is the essence of Hashem. We are allowed to dislike their actions, but we love them unconditionally. In Hebrew, the word nisayon means challenge, but it also comes from the word nes. When we have a challenge, we have to rise. Every challenge is an opportunity to double our efforts and to rise even higher. One more point. We can only try to imagine how those who oppose the Admorazad can feel. As we mentioned, the Satan can disguise in the best intentions. Torah, halacha, chassidut, but still blocking the Yechida from bringing Mashiach. In order to know for sure that you are serving the Rebbe's ratzon and not being chas v'shalom used by the Satan, a way is to consult the Rebbe himself. The difference between the Rebbe's ratzon and doing a Maasse Satan or participating in a Maasse Satan can be extremely thin. The Rebbe answers according to the question asked. If the question comes from a place of complete dedication, saying to the Rebbe, "What do you want?" we will receive an answer about his ratzon. If someone asks a question mentioning what he personally feels, what he personally wants, his difficulties, his limitations, then the Rebbe will respond accordingly. We need complete dedication, but we also need to feel the ratzon of the Rebbe. Out of complete dedication, we will say to the Rebbe, "Rebbe, I'm yours. What do you want me to do?" That's already a very good soldier. A deeper level is when we feel the ratzon of the Rebbe. His ratzon is our ratzon. It is not external to us. And in such a situation, we may come to the Rebbe with initiatives and the Rebbe will approve. And the main ratzon is to have Geula hamitit v'ashlema through Mashiach tzidkenu. The Rebbe said that if one wanted Mashiach, Mashiach would be here. May we feel the unique ratzon in such a way that is so intense and unconditional that Hashem has no other option but to accomplish concretely the ratzon of the heart.